Hey everybody. So I've been using Netflix since about 2011, 12 timeframe, and it was spotty. I would say even 2010, but that was back when you would get CDs in the mail. My roommate had it, and I really didn't use it that much because he had a huge video collection, and that was back when people would buy the DVDs, the Blu-rays, all that kind of stuff. Uh, I started using Netflix as a streaming service in 2013, and I really never went back. It's a pretty good service, and back then you had a lot of documentaries, you had some movies. The movies weren't very good, to be honest. You had some shows, and I had been in a job where I wasn't able to watch TV very much at all, so I just enjoyed having something to stream. Nowadays, the content's a lot better, and that is in my humble opinion, but I think that it's come a long way. They've got some really good movies on there prior to Disney Plus coming out, and I did a video on Disney Plus, which I can link below if anybody's interested. Prior to Disney Plus coming out, they had a strong foothold on a lot of Disney content and Marvel content, and you've seen kind of some of that stuff do a paradigm shift lately since Disney Plus is picking up steam, quote unquote. But that being said, I wanted to kind of show you what it's like to have Netflix if you don't have it or if you're thinking about getting it. So, in order to get Netflix, you need to be willing to pay a certain amount per month. And I wanted to show you it's about $12.99 a month, up from $10.99 in 2018. And you do have deals where streaming services will actually bundle that into your internet provider. I don't have that. I have Verizon. So I pay the flat amount per month. And sometimes you can include family. People have been in the past abusing the login feature, and you'd have, multiple people using it. And for a while Netflix wasn't turning that off, and they've really cut down on that now. So you really need to be prepared to pay and to share that responsibility of paying if you have several to many accounts on one profile. We have a couple on ours, but it's all family, and I think it's about 3 people. So if it's any more than that, be prepared to get up several prescriptions. But looking at Netflix, their search functions are pretty good. So they have home, they have where you see this. So this is a new series as of August 22nd here. High score, and I like video games. So it's kind of funny that they showed me that. But TV shows, you can go in there and it selects all the new ones. I'm not really a big trending TV fan. I like older stuff. So right now I'm watching Star Trek Next Generation. And I also wanted to go into one of my favorite shows on here, and this was Netflix actually footing the bill for the production costs, The Dark Crystal. So The Dark Crystal is actually a really, really good show. And I enjoyed immensely this product because I watched the original movie back in the 80s when it came out. I was, of course, really, really young. I shouldn't have been watching it at the time. Honestly, it's kind of scary for kids. But essentially, they used a production budget that Netflix owned and provided, and they had puppets. And I thought that was so cool because everything nowadays is all digital, and you can tell, and it's really upsetting. So, like, if anyone remembers back in 2002, 2003, 2004, the Sci-Fi Channel, all those old sci-fi originals, the really cheesy 3D production, that's kind of what I come to expect with streaming service produced movies, but they're actually producing really good content now. So I would give it a chance. I know some people are kind of turned away by the puppets, but it's really good. And I wanted to, just bring that up. Give it an opportunity if you haven't. I watched the whole first season, and I'm hoping they're going to come out with the second one pretty soon here. And I think they have the movie on here. So let's see. And they have The Crystal Calls, which is the making. I watched that. That was pretty good. I don't see Dark Crystal on here. It used to be on here. I watched it, so they must have taken that off. They move their content pretty often, so I've actually had the situation come up where I was watching something, I stopped watching it, and then when I turned the TV on the next week, it was gone, and I hadn't finished, so that was a little upsetting. But that happens in any streaming service. So going to movies, okay, so they've got, top 10, and they do trending movies, and I think they do a US trending, and they also have within Netflix's own network. So these are things that I don't usually watch the trending ones. I go for what I'm interested in. And so the trending is typically kind of pop culture-ish, and you get a lot of people who really follow what's, latest and greatest, and they go for it. I typically go for what interests me, so I don't usually follow that. But that's just a personal preference. And as you can see, I started Uncut Gems. I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't watch the whole thing. I like the funny Adam Sandler. I don't like the cursing Adam Sandler, just saying. So that's the movies. It's pretty easy to find content. This was a good one here. You can go by genres. They've got a great anime selection. I've seen everything I'm interested in on there, so I don't really watch it as often. They've had Berserk on here forever. That's a great one if you haven't treated yourself to it. Of course, never go wrong with Ghost in the Shell. That's a fun one. And then they have really great slice of life. There are better anime streaming services out there, but Netflix does have good content if you're interested. So check it out if you have time. Usually, typically, like hardcore anime folks, they have already seen everything on here. So for me, I kind of casually watch, so I usually find interesting stuff. Latest, it shows stuff that kind of is either new additions, or they have new additions coming in, like new shows, or just this is an older show, of course, and so is Star Trek Voyager. Everybody knows this is pretty old, but it's newer content and newer seasons and all that kind of stuff coming in. So my list, let's see what I have on here. I don't have anything on my list. I had started watching this several years ago, and I never really finished it. This I have seen, and then I think I clicked it just to show a friend. This Berserk is awesome. They have the movies, but they don't have the show. And the funny thing about Berserk is they actually really don't have the core of the story. You have to check the manga out for that. Highwayman was a really good movie. So I don't have a whole lot on there. I use Netflix, pretty often. That's a run through Netflix. And if you don't have it, it comes pretty highly recommended, especially with COVID. Everyone's using it. So their costs are going up a bit year to year. So it is fun, kind of splurge and get it with somebody else if you can do that. But just remember, if you put too many people on there, it hurts Netflix if they're on the same account, and they will make you get several accounts. But yeah, check it out. And look, you can even click on Netflix, and I think that takes you kind of the same place as home. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I'll come out with more. Thanks so much.